So, what if I told you that a real, genuine emotion, like a flash of anger or a jolt of joy, only lasts for about 4 seconds? Yeah, 4 seconds. Today we're going to get into the surprisingly short life of our feelings and figure out what we're actually feeling the rest of the time. Okay, think about it. Have you ever had one of those days, where you wake up and you just feel angry or sad, and that feeling just follows you around from morning till night, like a shadow? I think we've all been there. But here's the crazy part. What if I told you that, scientifically, that's not really possible?
This quote right here is from a super influential psychologist, Paul Ekman, and his research is what we're digging into today. He discovered that our true emotions are incredibly brief. We're talking flashes that last for just a few seconds, maybe a couple of minutes if you stretch it, which, creates a bit of a puzzle. If you aren't feeling one single emotion for 8 hours straight, then what on earth is going on inside your head?
And that, right there, is the big question we're here to answer. To get to the bottom of it, we have to understand this really important difference, a distinction that science makes, but we tend to mess up in our everyday conversations. See, the whole answer lies in figuring out the difference between an emotion and a mood. We use those words all the time, kind of like they're the same thing, but according to the research, they are two completely different beasts. Let's start with a pure emotion. The official definition is that it's a strong, short, specific reaction to something that just happened. A good way to think about it is like a lightning strike. It's super powerful, it's sudden, it's focused, and it's a direct response to something specific.
So here are the telltale signs of a true emotion. First, like we said, it is super short. We're talking seconds to minutes. It's also always caused by a clear trigger. Your boss sends a passive-aggressive email, someone cuts you off in traffic, you get a piece of amazing news. It even comes with its own facial expression, like that universal look of surprise or disgust. And here's the key, an emotion is always about something. You're afraid of the spider, you're angry at your friend. It's intense and it's targeted.
Now, let's talk about its counterpart, a mood. If an emotion is like a lightning strike, a mood is more like the weather for the day. It's this general feeling that just hangs around for hours, maybe even days. It's way less intense. And this is really important. A lot of the time, there's no obvious single reason for it. You just feel kind of grumpy. Or maybe you feel cheerful, but you can't really put your finger on why. And here's where it all clicks into place. Let's look at them side by side. An emotion, that's a short, intense sprint caused by a very specific thing. A mood, that's a low and slow marathon, and you might not even remember when the starting gun went off. An emotion is about something specific, while a mood is just this general background hum. Researchers even call it objectless. You're not mad at anything in particular. You're just in a bad mood. And just so we're clear, this isn't just some random idea someone cooked up. These definitions come from decades of serious psychological research from scientists like Paul Ekman and his colleagues. It's all laid out in the source material for this explainer. Okay, so now that we have our tools, we know the difference between an emotion and a mood, let's go back and finally solve that puzzle we started with, the all-day anger. Right, so you're not actually feeling one continuous 8-hour-long wave of anger. According to the science, what you're probably going through is one of two very specific things. The first possibility is pretty straightforward. You're not feeling the emotion of anger all day. Instead, you're in an irritable mood. Think of a mood like a filter over your brain. The source material says that moods literally lower the threshold for feeling a related emotion. So if you're in an irritable mood, it takes way less to set you off. That tiny little thing that you'd normally just brush off, suddenly it triggers a real flash of anger. Your mood is the stormy weather, and it just makes lightning strikes way, way more likely. But okay, there's a second option here. You might be experiencing something researchers call emotional episodes, or I like this one, dense emotional occasions. So here's how this works. Step 1, your coworker says something rude, and boom, you feel a flash of anger, a real but very brief emotion. But then, step 2, you can't let it go. You keep replaying their comment in your head. And every single time you think about it, step 3, you re-trigger that same short burst of anger. According to Ekman, when you string all these little flashes together one after another, it creates the illusion of one long continuous feeling. You're not dealing with one giant bonfire, you're just lighting a whole bunch of tiny matches over and over again. So, okay, now it's the science. But why does any of this actually matter in real life? Well, it matters because understanding this difference gives you a huge advantage in managing your own headspace. For starters, it gives you the ability to figure out what's really going on.
Are you genuinely angry about that one email, or are you just in a grumpy mood because you didn't sleep well? It also gives you the power to separate a temporary feeling from who you are as a person. So instead of thinking, I am an angry person, you can think, I am currently experiencing an irritable mood. It's a total game changer for self-awareness. It all boils down to being able to stop and ask yourself one simple question. Right now, am I having a brief specific emotion, or am I just in a mood?
So I'll leave you with this final thought. If our emotions are really just these quick flashes of lightning, take a second to ask yourself, what's the overall weather of your mind right now? And what might actually be causing it? Just knowing the answer could completely change the rest of your day.